Hello everyone, welcome you all to the second video of the story The Address written by Marga Minko. So in the previous video we have discussed that how the story is a touching account of a girl who goes in search of her mother's belongings after the Second World War. Okay, so in the previous video we have also discussed how the Nazi troops had very much determination to destroy the lives of the Jews, and how this narrator and her mother, who were Jews, were hiding everywhere for survival. And after the deterioration which was caused by World War, now the narrator herself is only the alone survivor in her family, and everyone else were dead. Okay, so here now after a while, when everything is settled, the war has finished. Now she has decided to go to one of her mother's acquaintance, that is Mrs. Dolling's house, so that she could see and touch the belongings of her mother, and she could refresh all the past memories she had spent with her dear mother. Okay, so we have also discussed about the first meet of Mrs. Dolling and the narrator, how when the narrator knocked at the door of the house, the door was not opened as a whole, but a little from a little nook. Mrs. Darling came out and she denied to meet the narrator by saying that she was very much busy and she never gave a quality time to the narrator, or she didn't have any intention to have a conversation. Okay, so it was weird in the mind of the narrator to think what was happening, what was the situation, and why she is acting so differently, as she knew that her mother was well a friend of Mrs. Darling, and what led to the situation and what were the circumstances further, let us discuss. Okay, so as I walked slowly back to the station, I thought about my mother who had given me the address years ago. So now here we come to know that as Mrs. Darling could not spare time with the narrator, so she was bound to return back. And when she was going to the station, she was thinking all the memories with her mother, what her mother had said her regarding Mrs. Darling, or what were the situations happened when she was alive. So she is reminding herself those things. So it had been in the first half of the war. So now when she is reminding herself of the past situations, so the time period she is thinking about is the first half of the war. So I was home for a few days and it struck me immediately that something or the other about the rooms had changed. So as she is the one living in the house, so she has gone out for some further studies or so, and when she has returned to her home, she is noticing that the room has changed or something is missing. Okay, so she says that I missed various things. So usually what things were arranged systematically in the room, now everything is missing. Most of the things are not present. The room has totally changed. So she was surprised to see all those different situations. Okay, then she says, my mother was surprised I should have noticed so quickly. Then she told me about Mrs. Dolling. So this was the situation when the narrator came across the name of Mrs. Dolling from her mother's side. Okay. So then she told about Mrs. Dolling. I had never heard of her, but apparently she was an old acquaintance of my mother whom she hadn't seen for years. She had suddenly turned up and renewed their contact. Since then, she had come regularly. So she is reminding herself that how her mother talked about Mrs. Darling, who was an old acquaintance. She also informed her that every time when Mrs. Darling came, she became much closer, and which she was not in contact in the past, but all of a sudden she came from her side to mingle and grow the friendship between them. So from here we can analyze that Mrs. Darling's character is considered to be smart, greedy, and unreliable. Okay, so she offers to help Mrs. S, which was not help actually in reality, but it was just an opportunity of gaining some material wealth. And because the outbreak of the war was near, So she tried to communicate more and more. So this is very much obvious by the memories which the narrator is trying to explain. Then every time she leaves here, she takes some things home with her, said my mother. She took all the table silver in one go, and then the antique plates that hung there. She had trouble lugging those large vases, and I'm worried she got a crick in her back from the crockery. My mother shook her head pityingly. I would never have dared ask her. She suggested it to me herself. She even insisted. She wanted to save all my nice things. If we have to leave here, we shall lose everything, she says. So you see how much clever Mrs. Darling is. So she initiated help from her side, and whenever she came, as she became a regular visitor at that time, so whenever she came, she took huge amount of crockery, silver dishes, everything at one go. Okay, so it was very much not that much normal to take so many things in one go. So the narrator was very much shocked to see that how a single lady is carrying so many things and she is not affected by it. And on the other side, is very much excited and she's initiating everything from herself. So it was quite odd, but she never took that much interest upon that matter. Okay, and how her mother is explaining that she saw everything in front of her, but she never dared to contradict with the situations or the things which Mrs. Darling said. So from here we can say that Mrs. S is very much simple lady, and she is not understanding the intentions which are very much negative on Mrs. Darling's side. So Mrs. S is thinking that Mrs. Darling is helping her, but on the contrary, she is just greedy of the things Mrs. S has, and now as she has a perfect opportunity to take those things, she is not lagging behind. Okay, so here the all the Mrs. S's valuable possessions were in the custody of Mrs. Darling. Okay, so understood till here? Then let us go to the next slide. Have you agreed with her that she should keep everything? I asked. So here the narrator was a little clever and she analyzed that this is not normal which happens. So she is asking her mother that how you have agreed to give all the valuable things to that one person. How you think that it is very much natural on your side. So as if that's necessary, my mother cried. It would simply be an insult to talk like that. And think about the risk she is running each time she goes out of our door with a full suitcase or bag. So here, Mrs. S, that is the mother of the narrator, she is thinking that Mrs. Darling is doing such a great help to them. She is telling that Mrs. Darling is taking all these things to keep in her safe custody because it is a war-like situation, so anything can happen at any moment. So she is trying to help us to safeguard our precious things which she is taking, and how much risk she is taking on her side, we have to also take that into consideration. So she is very much thinking all the good things about Mrs. Darlings which in reality are not true. Okay, so my mother seemed to notice that I was not entirely convinced. She looked at me reprovingly, and after that we spoke no more about it. So here the narrator, which is very much obvious, is not convinced by the situation, but here the mother, she was trying to prove again and again that whatever she is doing was correct out of humanity. She is thinking that whatever she is doing is very much obvious, and she has a help in the form of a friend who is taking all the initiative. So everything is going very much great and in a good manner. Okay, so after their thought process did not match with each other, now the mother and daughter never raised the topic again because they knew that their mentality is not matching in this situation. Okay, so meanwhile I have arrived at the station without having paid much attention to the things on the way. So now here, She was walking in familiar places. The narrator, who has arrived at the station without having paid much attention to the things on the way, she is now walking to the similar places. Okay, so here it is given, you see, that I was walking in familiar places again for the first time since the war, but I did not want to go further than was necessary. I did not want to upset myself with the sight of the streets and houses full of memories from a precious time. So she is now regaining all the memories she had before the war, and after the war, what were the consequences? She is seeing again and again in the on the similar roads, and she actually does not want to recollect again all these bad memories, because that all situations reminded her of her family and what happened with them during the war. Okay, so here in the train back, I saw Mrs. Darling in front of me again, as I had first time I met her. It was the morning after the day my mother had told me about her. I had got up late, and coming downstairs, I saw my mother about to see someone out, a woman with a broad back. So now she is recollecting the first meeting of the narrator with Mrs. Darling, and one physical feature she remembers very well of that lady is she had a broad back. So at this situation, narrator's mother introduced the narrator to Mrs. Darling. So she says, "There is my daughter," said my mother. She beckoned to me. The woman nodded and picked up the suitcase under the coat rack. She wore a brown coat and a shapeless hat. So from this conversation of the narrator, which she is remembering of the past, it is very much obvious that Mrs. Darling was not interested to have a conversation. Rather, she was much interested in taking all the things or emptying the house, and she is loading all the things at one go, and she is clearing all the stuff. So she is not at all interested to have a conversation with Mrs. S's daughter. So here the narrator asks, "Does she live far away?" Seeing the difficulty she had going out of the house with the heavy case, "In Marconi Street," said my mother, "number 46, remember that." So now, for the first time, the mother mentions the address of Mrs. Darling, that is number 46, Marconi Street. So she also had said, the narrator, to remember the address very well. Okay. So now, but I had waited a long time to go there, initially after the liberation. So here, students, liberation means here something which is in a positive note. So as you know that the World War II has just ended, and here the action of setting someone free from imprisonment, slavery or oppression is the meaning of liberation. So here, as I have discussed with you earlier, that Nazi people were very much uh, determined to destroy the lives of the Jew, and after the World War II, what happened? The Soviet Union troops and all, they tried to take initiative, and they tried to help the Jewish people who were under the custody of the Nazi troops. They encountered all the concentration camps and the other sites where these criminals of the Nazi people have done all the destruction. Then these conditions were sorted out by the liberators, and the full scope of Nazi horrors were put to an end. Everything came back to normal. Then the people who were captured, basically the Jewish people, they were also freed. So now everything was coming back to normalcy. Okay. So the liberation means to free someone so that everything becomes very much normal, and it is a initiative to take away some people from the oppression. Okay. So here, initially after the liberation, I was absolutely not interested in all that stored stuff, and naturally I was also rather afraid of it. And she is telling that after everything came back to normal, she did not have any intentions to see the stuff which her mother had given to Mrs. Darling, because whenever she would see those things, she would remind herself of the passing away of her family members, and that is why she was rather afraid to meet the consequences or to see the situation in front of her. So she is now giving the reasons also, that afraid of being confronted with things that had belonged to a connection that no longer existed. So she is now discussing about her mother, which were hidden away in cupboards and boxes and waiting in vain until they were put back in their place again, which had endured all those years because they were things. So she is telling that how she is afraid to see the things that had belonged to her dead mother. She did not want to see their belongings lying in Mrs. Darling's house in boxes and cupboards. And again, taking back all those things to the old place again, she was scared because the things might make her very much nostalgic. She would remember all those things or all those times which she had spent with her mother. So she will be turning very much nostalgic and she will not be able to cope up with the situation. But gradually, her life became normal again, and one day she was curious again about the possessions that must be still at that address. So I wanted to see them, touch, remember. After my first visit in vain to Mrs. Darling's house, I decided to try a second time. So now a girl of about 15 opened the door to me. I asked her if her mother was at home. So she said, "No, my mother is doing an errand. So she is busy in some work. No matter," I said, "I'll wait for her." Okay, so when the first meeting was there, Mrs. Darling opened the door and she did not have that much initiative to have a conversation, and she shut the door. And now for the second time, when the narrator is trying to enter the house, here now who comes? A 15-year-old girl opens the door. So maybe she is the daughter of Mrs. Darling, and she tells that my mother is doing some work. She's completing some household work, so please wait for her. Okay. So when the 15-year-old girl took the narrator along the passage, the narrator now came across the similar stuff she had at her home. First, she noticed the Hanukkah candle holder. So Hanukkah is a festival of lights celebrated by the Jewish people. So this girl, the narrator, had the candle holder in her house, and they were not using it in most of the occasions because it was very much cumbersome. Cumbersome means which is very much heavy to carry or use. So they rather used a single candlestick rather than holding this heavy candle holder and moving along. Okay, then next, when she entered the room of the Mrs. Darling, she was very much horrified to see the scenario because all the things which belonged to her mother was kept in that room, and it was kept in a very disarranged and manner. Everything was mismanaged, and in a very tasteless way everything was there. Okay, because of the ugly furniture which was kept of Mrs. Darling, the things were losing its importance, and it was not hoped by the narrator to see her things or her mother's belongings in such a condition. And she saw in front of her a woolen tablecloth that also she thought that it belonged to her mother because she moved her fingers around it, hoping that there was a burn mark which was there from their house from the past. And for her surprise, she saw that that burn mark was still there and it was never repaired. Okay, and when she was having this scenario, which was very much a sad experience for the narrator, the 15-year-old girl prepared a tea for her mother, and she also asked the narrator that if she would have some. Then narrator shook her head and she told thank you for the tea that the girl made. When the girl was serving the tea, she had a physical feature similar to her mother, that is, she had also a broad back. Okay, so when she was opening the boxes and taking out the spoons to make the tea, the narrator now also got confirmed that the cups and the spoons were also belonging to them. So everything which was utilized in Mrs. Darling's house belonged to her and her mother. So she felt very bad to see such kind of situation. Okay, so now the girl is serving tea, and the narrator is thinking how strange it could be that how can one use others stuff in such an inappropriate way. Okay, so now when she was thinking to herself all those things, this 15-year-old girl started a conversation with the narrator, and the little girl said that uh, as a child, I had always fancied the apple on a pewter plate. Pewter plate means made of tin. Okay, so we use it for everything, she said. Once we even ate of the plates hanging there on the wall. I wanted to so much, but it wasn't anything special. I had found the burn mark on the tablecloth. So, when this 15-year-old girl was sharing her experiences, the narrator was not paying attention to that, rather than she is finding the mark on the tablecloth. Okay. So the girl looked questioningly at me because she saw that view that she has found the burn mark. So here the girl looked questioningly at the narrator and she said, yes, you get so to touching all these lovely things in the house, you hardly look at them anymore. So here, in a taunting way, the narrator said to the girl that it is absolutely correct that some don't notice the things unless it is missing. So it is just a human nature to take things for granted, okay? And we seldom ponder over the things lying around us because they are there. But once their true worth is analyzed, the situation is when we don't find them in front of our eyes. Okay, so she is indirectly meaning that these things don't belong to you, and if they are belonging, you don't know their importance until it is missing or it is taken from you. Understood? So now here the narrator remembers the time when her mother was alive and the narrator was at home. She was bored or ill. She is remembering that her mother asked her to polish the silver cutlery. She was also surprised to hear that the cutlery that they were using was made of silver. And even Mrs. Dolling's daughter was surprised to hear that they were using silver cutlery for everyday eating. Okay, then the narrator decides that she could not stay there any more because she was feeling very much horrified to see all those things, and she now is every situation is reminding of her bad time. So she now decided or took a resolution that though the address was correct, but she did not want to remember it any more. So she felt that the objects were linked to a memory of a time which no longer existed, and they had lost their value in the strange surroundings. So as she had an idea in her mind that when she will get all the belongings of her mother, she would feel it much connected to herself, or that would remind her of her mother's relationship with her. But now she is in a total different situation. She is now thinking that after seeing those things in certain strange surroundings, she is not at all willing now to take all those things back, and now she decides that she would not take those things because she would it would remind her of the bad times. Okay, and they had lost their essence which it had before. Okay, so she comforted herself by thinking that her present house was very much small to accommodate all those old stuff, and she left the house leaving all her family belongings behind. Okay, so now she was very much confirming herself, or she was giving herself an excuse that it is correct to leave those things in their place and not to take back all those things, and she would surpass all those things by thinking that her house is very much small so that it could uh, take some space over there. So she decided to move back without taking any of the things which belonged to her mother. Okay, so here we can see that the story brings suffering and disasters with it. It takes away so many lives, leaving people with nothing in their hands. Then it changes the lives of people in a very different way by affecting their fortunes forever. Then everything after the war becomes normal, but the people are threatened more. The wounds which are given by the war do not heal easily, and this crude and cunning nature of humans is brought out in the war itself. Okay, So people have to leave their homes, the place where they spend all the cherished moments. They lose many loved ones. So sometimes their life is completely destroyed. Hence, how can something that causes so much damage, not only of life and property, but also of human emotions and bonds? For example, here the narrator, how she has lost all her hopes, all her emotions which she had with her mother, and how everything drastically changed in her life is very much obvious to notice. Okay, so there is nothing in this world that cannot be done with peace. So non-violence is the way to form stronger relationships with others. So that is the moral of the story. Understood? So hope you have understood the. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe.